Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to an awesome new episode of VO Buzz Weekly.
Absolutely. You know, we always say awesome.
Yeah.
Why do we always say awesome new episode?
Because they are. And
Exactly.
based on what our viewers say, people
Hello.
are loving it. And I know we have a good time, so.
Exactly.
Hopefully
We can say another cool episode, but awesome is so much better.
It's just kind of like the word. Yeah.
Absolutely. On the show today, Kimberly Brooks. You hear her on everything.
Commercials, promos, animation, games.
Absolutely.
All you gamer, Mass Effect, Bioshock, Infinite people.
And she's
so
so cool. You're going to love her.
Doll.
Yes.
Yeah. So we should talk to her.
Let's go.
Right now. Our guest is loved and adored by her colleagues and her fans for her work in commercials, promos, animation, and video games. She is the voice of Ashley Williams in Mass Effect, the voice of SoapNet, Mom on the hit Disney Junior show Doc McStuffins, and so much more. We are super psyched to get buzzed with the gorgeous, fabulous, talented Kimberly Brooks.
Hello.
That's our screaming
crowd
audience.
noise.
I love the crowd.
Kimberly Brooks.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thanks for
goodness
being
gracious.
here.
Thank you. Thanks.
How cool to have Kimberly Brooks here. You guys don't know this, okay? But it's like 11:30 at night. Because,
So late.
Because Kimberly's so busy during the day, doing all kinds of stuff that she could only come here way at night. No, we're kidding.
It's
It's late,
Halloween.
but it's not
No.
that late. It's almost Halloween. We're so
It's
happy
true.
to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing
It's
a
fantastic
little more
to
of
be
your
here.
voice today. We know you've been working a lot.
Absolutely. And you have a lot of fans, let me tell you.
You've been
Wow.
asked for.
Thank
You've been
you.
asked for, and we said Sunday can only come one day a week. We're getting there. So I'm glad we finally got it to all come together.
That makes me feel really good. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay!
She's happy to be here.
Well,
Yay.
we're off to
So
a good
cool.
start.
Okay, so we're going to get right down. We're going to get right down to it.
Alrighty.
What are you drinking there, Kimberly? Just water?
Water.
That's
It's
what
water.
we tell her to
Sponsored
say.
by Sparklet.
Sponsored by Sparklets. Okay, so check this out. You have an acting background, and you're an awesome singer.
Thank you.
And she is. How did you get into the whole voice acting thing? Like, how did that happen?
I've been doing it for a long time.
Okay.
And I was always an actress. I started out doing children's theater when I was in third grade.
Third grade.
I know. I was in Alice in Wonderland. I was the Duchess or something. It was
Off with the heads, right?
Yeah, no, that was the Queen.
Oh, that was the
I
Queen.
didn't get to say that, but I was at the party when she was
yeah.
saying off with
Well,
her
you're
heads.
too nice to be that mean.
So, and I've always done theater through high school as a theater major in college. Went to New York, did some theater, but I just knew I wanted to do something a little bit different. So when I came back to LA, I took a voiceover class.
Oh,
Nice.
Voiceover
What are
class.
those?
I know. Highly recommended.
okay.
And
Something to write down right now. Voiceover class.
Yeah,
Okay, go
class.
ahead.
And I went in for my first audition, and I actually booked it. And I didn't have an agent, and it was at a place called Kalmanson and Kalmanson, which
Yep.
is still around. Everybody
Absolutely.
knows about them. And Kathy, God bless her, called in my first agent, Sandy Schnarr, and I'd never done any voiceover except for that one, but she called her in to negotiate the contract for me, and she was like, well, and I actually went in and read some copy, and she's like, well, do you do kid voices? And it was that moment of, yeah, I do. And I did some auditions, and it was great. And I auditioned for Rugrats, and I got a couple of roles in that
Wow.
show
Yeah.
right away. And,
Right off the bat.
You were off
and that
and
was,
running.
and then I was off and running.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy
pretty much.
Toledo.
So would you say that Rugrats was your first, would you consider that your break, like your big break to kind of
That
change the...
that was a really popular show, and a lot
Yeah.
of great actors worked in that show. So
Absolutely. Do you remember what some of the people that you worked on?
oh
that
yeah,
movie?
Well, Grey Delisle.
Great Delisle,
That was
Tara
kind of her
Strong,
first thing. too.
yeah, all the
Yeah.
really a lot of great people. Charlie Adler, Kath Soucie,
Yeah.
unbelievable,
And the list goes on.
and the list
Yes.
goes on and on and on.
And y'all are still going strong.
Yeah, right?
It's a really.
Holy
I feel like I
Toledo,
got
man.
in voiceover at the right time.
Yeah.
Really, because it back then. This is when everything was on tape
Yeah.
and
Right.
before the internet, and so
Before the internet.
before the internet.
That long ago?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Hasn't the internet been around for like 42 years?
Not
No,
wait.
maybe not
Is
that
it?
long.
Shock.
No, yeah. I don't know. How could that be? Because I'm only 19.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
True, yeah.
But so yeah, it kind of just evolved into some other shows and Dexter's Lab was one of those, and it just kind of grew. And animation was always one of my favorite things to do. So I got really lucky.
Yeah.
You did. You did get really lucky.
Well,
that's really cool.
There was luck, and then you were ready, and you had the skills and the right opportunity
absolutely.
came along.
Yeah, I feel like I had taken some classes, and I really wanted to do it, and you know, I just put everything into the auditions, and I was lucky. I got some good roles really early on.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you on that, and in that same vein there, because sometimes a lot of people say, well, I got really lucky. I happen to think that luck needs to meet preparedness in order for something good to happen. So you must have been somehow prepared, and that made you lucky. So what do you think it was that gave you that little edge that you feel that gave you, you know, that preparedness?
Probably my acting background, my theatrical background, because it really translates well to voiceover.
Yeah.
You know, just characters, and you know, and I also knew I wanted to do voiceover because I didn't want to be limited to what I look like.
Exactly.
And if, like, as I was looking at IMDb because I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to ask me what shows I've been on, and I can never remember anything. But I was looking through going,
We'll remind you what you've been.
Yeah,
thank you. But I was actually shocked. I was like, I could never have done any of these roles if they were on-camera roles.
Yeah.
And so that was another huge part of why I wanted to do voiceover.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really,
Very, very cool.
it's really exciting.
So, what do you think are your strengths as a voice actor?
My strengths as a voice actor.
I mean, everyone has like their bag of tricks. What do you think are your...
One of my absolute favorite things to do is promo work. I don't know, I think it's my idea of what voiceover was when I first got into it before Sandy asked me if I could do kid voices.
Yeah.
Because that's what we grew up listening to, you know, Don LaFontaine on ABC or whatever.
Yeah.
And those guys, I have total deep voice envy. Because I love the promo.
Say, no, you don't.
I do.
But you envy.
Envy,
Okay,
deep voice envy.
Yeah.
Right,
I
because she
have
does
deep
not
voice.
sound like Don LaFontaine.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But yeah,
Jaws 3.
just the, you know, promo work, doing that, doing work live to picture. I actually just did a live show last night. That's really exciting
Wow.
too. So
Live announce. Now that's
Live
difficult
announce.
because you can't mess up, right?
Yeah.
you can.
There
can.
is-
You
well,
can. You
but then
can.
Everybody's talking
But
about
then you're
it.
going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
You're going to be doing
Yeah.
what's her
Whoa.
name? Adele Dazeem?
Yeah.
John Travolta?
Oh, yeah,
that.
no one needs an Adele.
I don't need that in my life. That was,
Wow.
but yeah. So
What show was it that you live announced?
last night it was a tribute to Matthew McConaughey. It was a
Nice.
American Cinematheque.
Wow, that's
so
very cool.
it was just really kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like it's going to be all glamorous.
Matthew Mahakamik.
I know. I had a moment of panic. Of,
You did?
Is it McConaughey?
McConaughey.
I was going to pull a Lucille Ball moment. Yeah. Is it McConaughey or McConaughey? No, it's McConaughey, right?
McConaughey.
Okay, good. I said it right then.
Okay, good.
Good. No one said anything to me, so I
Glad
just.
that we can.
I have a feeling someone would have told you by now.
No,
You
they
know
wouldn't
what?
have
You'd be
because they
back.
probably
You'd
don't
be
know
nice.
either.
You pull it together though for the show. Somehow you're just like,
you go into the zone.
yeah, you go into the
Fantastic.
zone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are some day jobs that you had to do to pay the bills before you really were?
Oh.
Well,
Kimberly Brooks had day jobs?
it has been a long time.
Yeah.
But I can tell you about my very last day job, which I actually got fired from
Right on.
because
Get
I
down.
started booking jobs.
Nice.
But it was actually kind of ironic, and it really pissed me off. But I worked for.
Cleanse it. Let's
I'm gonna
cleanse
let
it
it go
now.
now. I'm
Let's
gonna
just-
purge.
You're safe here,
She's
Kimberly.
purging.
Everyone
This is
stand
great.
back.
Everybody stand back.
She's been waiting to get this off her chest. Okay, go for it.
I worked at the Grammys.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I worked for the president. I won't mention
What?
his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were really cool because it was all about supporting artists, and they had all these programs to support artists, specifically musicians, because
Yeah.
it was the Grammys.
Yeah.
But I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And I worked there. I was a diva. They called us divas. At first, I was a diva, and that's the people that answered the phones. But we
Okay.
were so hot, they called us divas.
Oh. That's not objectifying at all.
No, not at all. It's not a problem at all. No, they're like big hair, black woman diva. That's what they
Yeah.
said. But so I worked for him, and I started getting auditions, and I would try to go on my lunch break, and I would like, sneak over and do my little jobs. And one time I was coming back from my job, my audition, and I was so nervous. My boss was calling me and yelling at me on the phone, and I actually I rear-ended somebody because I was like just trying to get back. This was a long time. And so when I called to tell her, oh my God, I'm like bawling. It was my husband's new truck. And she's like, well, I don't care about that. When are you going to be here? So, wasn't that so mean? So I got back, I booked another job, and they're like, we're going to have to let you go. Because I guess I wasn't fitting in with the whole...
You're like, too late, because I'm already going.
Yes, exactly. So, but it's kind of a good thing, because it would have been a job I would have stayed at and then tried to do, and it was like, be free, go.
Yes,
and I really never looked back.
So they did you a favor.
So they did. Actually, I'm not pissed. I purged. I'm not pissed anymore.
And when you win your Grammy...
Ironically, I know. Well, I actually did speaking of live announce, like a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, I don't know when it was, but the MTV Awards.
Yes.
So that was it wasn't the Grammys, but it was kind of like, because, oh man.
You closed the circle.
I do have another story.
Please.
Go ahead. We're all about stories
here. We would
here.
like to have you talk, because
Come on,
it's sort
Kimberly.
of about you right now.
So this is one of my, this is about me right now.
It's about you the whole time. So keep going, darling.
I was talking to my good friend Gary Anthony Williams the other day. I went to go see his show, and after the show, I was like, how do you get so good at improv? Like, it's just, how are you so amazing at it?
Yeah.
And he told me a story about being young and taking an improv class, and a guy, after the class, coming up to him and pulling him aside and saying, you shouldn't do improv. It's just not for you. And then that made him go, oh yeah, now he's like the best improv.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my story like that.
Oh.
So I worked at the Grammys, and I worked for the vice president. I won't say his name.
This is your revenge.
This is my story. And they decided to let me record the outgoing. They knew I wanted to do voiceover, and they decided to let me record the outgoing message.
Nice.
So you would hear me whenever you called the Grammys or whatever.
Still?
Probably not now. All of those people were fired, by the way. But that's a whole other story.
Lord, that's quite a clean out. Wow, okay.
So anyway, I know, it's kind of weird. So I did the record. It sounded great. And then they were going to pay me. So I made up my invoice, and I brought it in to his office, and he did the whole belittling. Oh, isn't that cute? You brought your little invoice in. He's from Atlanta, so I'm doing my Atlanta thing. Oh, honey, isn't that cute? You brought your little invoice
Bless your
in.
little heart.
He's like, okay, now I'm going to pay this, but you go back and do your job now. It was like that kind of thing. So that was my, oh yeah, moment. So that's my story right there. That kind of fueled me into it, because it is a business where people tell you no all the time, and you have to just keep going no matter what people say. So,
So
is that your name? I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
You go.
After you.
No, you go.
But is
No,
that
you
your...
go.
I'm sorry. I need to know more.
I don't know the answers.
I have to get... No, but is it in your nature? I mean, were you always like that kid who said...
So, I think I'm just realizing...
if you tell me I can't, then I will. I mean, is that...
I don't think I realized that until I had my own kids. But yeah, I think I am. Maybe a little bit competitive.
That's good, though.
I know, not like crazy, not anything, and maybe not even against anyone else, but more about what kind of barriers have been set and things that obstacles or whatever that I feel like I can overcome, which I have.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So I mean, you got totally lucky on your first booking ever.
Yeah.
So you think.
Word on the
So then
street.
after that, as you were auditioning, obviously you didn't get everything you auditioned for, right? Because you get a lot of no's.
No, that's not true. I got every single thing I auditioned for. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't get everything. I auditioned
Show's
for.
over, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week with somebody who has no success. No, but
I got
so how do you handle that? No. What do you think?
I think it's something you have to learn to handle, because it's rejection. And I think early on I heard, if you book one thing out of 20 auditions, then you're doing great.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that kind of, I set my level there, my expectations. And I also think if you're doing what you really love, then everything falls into place. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I handle it probably like most actors. I get bummed out sometimes, but I try to do the audition and let it go.
Yeah.
And it's kind of easy to do that because there is a lot of stuff out there,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: while you're auditioning, okay, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Do you audition from home or do you go into your agents?
I do a mixture.
Or do you go see Art Butler?
I go see Art Butler.
Okay, you go see Art
Don't
Butler.
say it. Everyone's going to go.
Now Art's going to be
see him.
famous.
He's
we'll just-
Oh, hey, Art,
famous.
how are you?
He's Art
Art's a part of our
Butler.
studio
Yes.
audience today.
It's an address. It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
A person.
So-
It's not a real
so-
person.
The amazing Art
Go-
Butler.
Don't go there.
When you're auditioning today, okay, let's say animation.
Okay.
Okay. You got a character in front of you. You got some specs. What's your process? How do you break it down?
That's a really good question. It depends on if it's if it's like something I know I can do. I'll prepare a little bit before. I kind of like to have that not too prepared thing
go
because
for
then
it.
I get set in something and then I
Exactly.
can't break it or shake it, especially if I'm reading by myself. But if it's something really juicy, I don't know. I think I prepare the same way, maybe more like an on-camera actor.
Right.
And I start with the acting, the character, and then and I always like to be directed. So I do read with Mr. Art Butler, who
Yes.
is here,
Who is here?
who I have been reading with for
In fact, Art's
years.
directing everybody right
Yeah.
now. What?
Yes.
What? We can't say that? Okay.
Art is directing us.
he's so for me, I completely trust him, and we have just a really good rapport, and he just knows how to. He knows how to like zero in on what
Yeah.
they're looking for, what they want, what the character is, and then I just try to get there.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, you go to Art. He tells you what to do, and you book.
And
the
I
job.
book the job, and I get all the money, and I get all the
Beautiful.
rewards.
And
Yeah.
then he gets a nice
There's-
pound of coffee.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
A
at
gift
Christmas,
card from-
And then, do you share the income from the job with him?
Okay.
no, actually, we haven't.
Okay, Art.
It's called
You need to start getting your own
friendship. She shares her
contract.
friendship.
What a great friend.
Friendship is priceless, Chuck.
But I do
True.
go into the booths at my agency at SBV, and we have awesome booth directors there
Yeah.
too. So when I'm in town, I mean, I'm kind of lazy, so I don't. I think most people now with the home studios are.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
just-
yeah.
we're lazy. We're
It's
getting
good
lazy.
to mix it up, though.
I know, I need to see
not get
people.
in your
Yeah.
little rut, and you can
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just and to see other people and not just be in my little
Exactly.
cave.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of your beloved characters.
Don't worry, she knows them all.
There are many.
You don't have to remember that.
Picking up my card. I love bragging about talented people. I love it. Ashley Williams, of course.
Ashley Williams is
Mass
awesome.
Effect.
Yes, she is badass.
Yeah.
She is badass.
And then there's the love story. I mean, you were like the Brad and Angelina of video games.
Or the Angelina and Brandy, because you could play the game with the female, the femshep, which people often did.
Yeah.
In fact, they recorded it and put it on YouTube. A lot of the love scenes between Jennifer Hale
Yeah.
and myself.
Yes.
And then they would intersplice them
You
with
make a lovely
scenes
couple.
from us as Hex Girls in Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that's funny.
I have seen that and I laughed so hard.
Magic
Whoever
of
did that, thank you.
technology. Yes. It's being searched on YouTube as
Yeah.
we speak. What is, I mean, and obviously in Bioshock Infinite, you've done a lot of like the massive, super popular game franchises.
Which has been awesome.
What is it about? I mean, first of all, from the time you started your first game to present, I mean, they're so theatrical.
Yeah.
I mean, just the detail is so amazing and the storylines. I mean, what is it about the games? And now you're going to the cons and meeting the fans. What is it about doing the games and then interacting with the people who just love them and come to know your characters so well and therefore you?
Right.
What is it like to have that experience?
Well, it's been amazing because it kind of crept up on me. I didn't realize that it was, actually video games used to be really annoying to me because everyone knows we don't make residuals.
Yes.
They're very grueling on your voice. The sessions are super long. And so it kind of seems thankless, but then you find out it's so not.
Yeah.
Because the fans, video game fans are like hardcore.
They are
and they
hardcore,
are the
man.
best
Yeah.
fans.
So great, yeah.
So great, and literally because of Mass Effect and Bioshock Infinite and a few other games, I've been able to go to the cons, meet fans, and it's been great because I'm kind of shy, so I never really. that's what I love about voiceover because you can do all these things and not really be recognized or
Yeah.
be. Although I have been recognized by my voice, which is so weird.
Really?
Yeah, which I don't really think of, but
Yeah.
like just the other day, a guy was like,
Well, when you
Ashley Williams?
Yeah.
I was weird. I was like, that's really weird.
Oh my
Is it
goodness.
funny when you meet people and they're dressed like your character? Is that kind of fun?
That's really cool, actually. The whole
Yeah.
cosplay thing. I did a little cosplay myself.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Some really cool fans made an Ashley Williams, total full-on uniform.
Yeah.
And I wore it for a con, and it was really well
Oh, that's
received. Yeah, it was
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool,
Yeah.
man.
yeah. Well, I know it means a lot to people that so many of you guys that are really, in game after game after game, that you interact. I know that because for a lot of people, I mean, playing those games, it's more than just getting to the top level. It
Yeah.
becomes
Well,
this circle of friends almost.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, especially with games, like Mass Effect, where, you play it for months and months, and you get to
Yeah.
know the characters and all these endings, and just the
Yeah.
technology is so amazing.
Yeah.
And so it has come a long way, because I was trying to figure out what my first video game was. Nothing like this, but I think it was an Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Was one of my first games.
Yeah. Well,
And there was nothing going on there.
They've come a long way.
They've
right?
come a long
Yeah, they're
way.
like movies
Kimberly
now.
Yeah.
does
I mean, you're like an
Jim
actor
Carrey
in a movie.
sound alike.
Yeah.
No.
I know. I was Jim Carrey's character. It was weird.
Wow.
It was weird. I did.
Do you ever have to do any of the weird, freaking, screaming, crazy stuff?
I do, and I try to now.
Does it ever like?
I did.
kill
Yeah, I
you?
did Call of Duty, and no, it wasn't Call of Duty. It was another game I did, something like that, and I completely lost my voice for like 4 days, and so I couldn't work, and it makes me
Yeah.
nervous.
No, my
Yeah.
favorite is when they say, "Okay, scream as if your left arm is being ripped off."
Yeah.
Now your
Now
right
your
arm
right
is
arm's
on,
being-
and
now
you're
your
set on
leg-
fire. Now you're set on fire, and you're falling down a mountain. I mean, you're just like reading, going,
You're like, oh my god! But the thing is, you make it work, and you somehow make the
Yeah,
distinction
exactly.
between the
Yeah.
left arm and the right arm.
I know. Isn't that funny?
That's what's
Yeah,
so
it's a
incredible
cookie.
about what we
Voiceover.
do.
Do you have any kind of a remedy for like when you lose your voice or when your voice is a little tired or
I
anything
just
like that?
cry a lot.
You
I
cry?
basically, it's
When
really
you're-
scary.
You don't like drink tea,
Yeah, I drink tea
throat
too.
coat.
Throat
Little
coat.
throat
the
coat.
What's the Asian, the Chinese? Have you guys seen this one? It's
Oh,
like a syrup, and I don't know what it is because
syrup.
it's all in Chinese
Yeah.
on the front. But
wasn't that James Arnold Taylor? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Fred Tatasciore. It's
They
like
all
his
do it.
potion. Yeah.
they have it over.
I can't remember. Look at James Arnold Taylor's episode. I can't remember the name
Yeah,
of it.
I actually have a bottle of that at my house. Someone gave
Okay.
it to me, and salt water too is also
Salt water.
Yeah.
just
It's a
to
good
get-
one.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
with
And of course, no talking, right?
Right. Just crying.
hard for
Just
me.
a
Because
lot of
that's the
crying.
best. That's the best
Just
thing you
crying.
do.
just sobbing softly.
Yeah. Now you
softly
know that
sobbing.
whispering
whisper,
is the
yeah.
worst thing you can
Yeah,
do
it's bad.
Yeah,
when
it-
you have a sore throat or
really?
a hoarse throat.
I did not
Whispering
know
is
that.
the worst. Yeah.
Better to not talk or speak in a full voice than whisper. It's
What
very
is
hard. Yeah,
whisper is
it's harder.
actually more harsh on your
Yep.
vocal cords? I did not
Really,
know that.
really weird. I know.
Yeah.
That's so weird. It's like totally the opposite.
Yeah.
I know. Well, you've heard me say it before, and now I'm going to say it again. That's all we have with Kimberly Brooks, but we'll be back next week with part 2, so tune in.
Absolutely. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, you guys, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at VO Buzz Weekly. We love you. Thanks for watching, and just remember, you always have time for a little buzz.